Hi everyone, welcome back to another Monday makeup lesson. Today I'm going to show you guys how to create this look, which is a spicy smoky eye. I hope that you guys enjoy this. It's actually really easy to do. I'm using a drugstore palette. It's great for blue eyes, green eyes, but pretty much everybody can wear this type of look. I really like it. I hope that you guys enjoy it too, and let's get started. So we are going to start off this look by carving out the brows. I'm going to start with my brow pencil. This is the Shady Slim, and I always recommend marking out your brows just to give you a little bit of a framework basically to work from, and your makeup look will look way better. It's the difference between putting a poster on the wall with like really crimpled edges and then putting a picture in a frame and putting that on the wall. You know what I mean? Actually, Shady is what they call me at home, and this is my favorite brow pencil ever. Next, I'm going to apply some primer, and the primer will help to create that blank canvas for you to work on. So I'm going to be mixing up two products. I got the Urban Decay primer and then the True Match by L'Oreal in the shade W1, which is almost exactly the same shade. So they work really well together. And to apply that, I'm just going to be using the F17, which is a face brush, but it's really good for carving out the brows. I find that the Urban Decay primer is just a little too drying on my skin. When I was younger, I could get away with it, not so much anymore. What I do is I put a lot on the brush and then I squeeze it down like this, take off the excess, but also to flatten the brush really thin so I can go around the brows. And you might think to yourself, why don't you just use a really thin brush? Well, here's a little thing about that. If a brush is too thin, it will not give you the control that you need, okay? So you need a slightly thicker brush you can then manipulate into a thinner brush, and then you have more control over it and you still have that really precise finish. And so what I do then is I just pick up a little extra on the tips of my fingers from where we squeezed it off. And you want to look in a mirror and you're going to carve out your brows. So I do a line really close to the brows and then I pull down the excess. And then just fill in the rest. And I just take whatever's left over on my ring finger and just tap it out. Now that our base is done, we can go ahead and start applying our eyeshadow and using our eyeshadow brushes. So these are the ones I would recommend. This is a 9-piece brush set by Blank Canvas Cosmetics. Pretty much the ones that I use every single time I do an eye makeup look. And the palette that we're using today is by Rimmel, and it is the Spice Edition. We're gonna start with a blending brush, and now this lid is still a little tacky, so we're gonna go easy with our first eyeshadow. And the first eyeshadow that we're gonna take is the lighter shade right here onto our blending brush. This is the 26. If you're a little darker than me, switch up for a darker shade. If you're a little lighter than me, switch up for the lighter shade. Just kind of mix and match. And just start on this outer edge and work your way in. So I'm holding the brush right in the center of the handle. I'm starting on the outer edge of the eye, and I'm gonna softly blend that in, putting very little amount of pressure on the actual brush. Keep it nice and smooth and soft. You're just working in this area above the lid. So basically you have your lid space, then you have your crease, then you have above the lid, and then you have your brow bone. So we're going right in the middle. So use the curve of your eye to create that nice smooth line, going from this outer edge to the inner edge. If you were wondering where to start on this outer edge, just use your brush, line up with the edge of your eye and the edge of your nose and the edge of the brow, like that. And you basically blend in from this point. If you haven't done your foundation, be a bit messy and just sort of bring it out a little, and then you can always clean up with a makeup wipe. A little brush that actually comes in this, I'm going to take the lighter shade and use this as my brow highlight. Now it should be still a little tacky just around the brows because we haven't used that product on there. So it will grab hold of this color really easily. And that's why you want to go a bit easy with how much you apply, because otherwise it will look just like a white line around your brows, which is fine if that's the look you're going for. And that just creates that nice sharpness around here. Actually, I'll turn down my light so you guys can see what I mean. See how you get that nice sharp line, but then you have the fade. Moving on, we're going to take that same brush that we used for the initial shade that we worked in the crease. We are then going to take a slightly darker one. So we're going to skip one shade and just move on to the next one, which is also another matte shade. And we're going to apply this on the same area that we've applied, but just a little lower this time, okay? I see a lot of people bring up their darker shades too high. You want to have a fade shade in between. So this was sort of our fade shade for now. And then this is going to be our slightly deeper shade that's going a little lower. So you're going to start on the outer edge and just blend over and back, but bring it a little lower than you were doing. So instead of going like this, you're kind of curving around the lid and the crease. I'm going to be taking this one down here so you guys can see these are almost the same shade, but this one has more of a reddy undertone and that has a yellow. So we're gonna add in kind of reddy one now. It's only very slightly different in the actual shade from light to dark, but just a little bit more red. Let's start this on the outer edge this time. So like really work on the outer edge, then bring it up into the crease, and then whatever's left over, bring that down on that inner corner and work that in. And we're bringing it at eye level here. So before we were working down here, we are going to really work that in there. Looks pretty good. Then bring it up into the crease and down to the other side, right to that inner corner. When you add on these shades, so you're gonna go from like a warm shade to a cooler shade and stuff, you get a really beautiful effect. Like it's so subtle, you wouldn't really notice it, but you do notice it at the same time. So I'm really working this on this outer edge, and because I haven't done my foundation, I'm not too worried about it like seeping past this line because I can always clean it up. I'm just really working this product in there, leaving that center of the lid free, bringing it over into the crease, and then working through the inner corner. Switching to this shade, which is like a reddy brown, you'd say. And I'm using a flat brush because I want precision here. So I'm gonna slightly close my eyes where you can look down in the mirror, and I'm just gonna tap this on this outer edge. And I'm then gonna bring it up into the crease and then down on the other side. And keep it really low, so don't bring it all the way up here. We've done all the work up there. Keep it really low onto the lid. And I'm just gonna blend that out. So I'm gonna take a clean blending brush. Make sure it's clean. I always keep a clean one handy. And I'm gonna hold it really far down on the handle. And whenever we're doing sort of softening, we always really hold it down far on the handle so that we get a softer effect. So we don't put as much pressure on the actual brush, like compared to doing this, which will just buff what you've done away. We don't want to do that. So keep it really low down and just very softly touch the skin. And that will just soften any harsh lines out. Now what I did on this side is I actually applied a little bit more of the concealer. I don't think we really need to on this side because it's actually quite clean. But if it isn't, you can always use a little bit of your concealer and just sharpen that ever so slightly up. But I think we're just gonna go straight in with what we're going to kind of brighten with. And we're gonna take that light shade again. And this eyeshadow, because it's so light, it kind of cuts the crease for you, but in like a really easy way, so you don't have to do it like too precisely or anything. You can create that kind of spotlight eye. Now I wouldn't leave it like this because it's quite a dramatic difference from the shades on the outer edge. I like to kind of create more of a streamlined, just slightly lighter shade. As I'm gonna take the beautiful shades from this palette. I mean, these are my kind of shades, these shades. The beautiful rose gold coppery tones. So which number is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 2 5s basically. You're gonna mix them up, tap those in the center over the light shade that we've already applied. Might take a couple of applications to get this to really show up. And obviously customize it to whatever you want, whether you want it to really show up or you want it to be quite subtle. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fade just the edges using the really warm shade just in the center there. I'm gonna actually use this little applicator-y thing and just kind of tap around the edges of the kind of spotlight. For the waterline, I'm going to be using this shade called Lucky. I'm going to line the waterline. Just a quick change, I finished off with the rest of my makeup. For the eyes, all I did was apply lots of mascara and some falsies. I also took the flat brush and I ran this underneath my eyes. I can't believe how much is actually underneath my eyes because it was just the leftovers on there. I also applied a little bit of that brow highlight into the inner corner. For the rest of the face then, I started off with my favorite Low Formula Hydrating Serum. For foundation and concealer, you want to go for something quite full coverage. So I went for the Eraser Eye by Maybelline, the Hello Happy Foundation by Benefit, and topped that off with the L'Oreal True Match Mineral, because what else would I wear? On the lips, I have Let's Cuddle Dose of Color, but I also wanted to have something a little spicy in there. So I went for number 20, beautiful one by YSL, and it matched the eyes pretty well. Oh, and I do want to mention my hoops because they were only $150 and everybody has to go get them because I can't believe they're only $150. So you get a gold, silver, and a rose gold in the hoops, which are just gorgeous hoops. But then you also get the little studs too for $150 from Pennies. What? Pretty much everything. Definitely let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. Give it a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and check out the other videos on the screen now. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Check back Wednesday.